Hello everyone and welcome to Let's Replay Ghostmaster. My third Let's Play here on Hidden Lugia, or official full Hidden Lugia Let's Play. There were also the two transfer Let's Plays from Mark 91 to Hidden Lugia. And yeah, this was the game winner of my 2-year anniversary poll for my Let's 2 years ago I started making Let's Plays, or almost 2 years ago, a bit more by now. And this game was also my third Let's Play as Mark 91. So it's both my third Let's Play with my original channel and this new one. And I have to say it is a favorite of mine. It was made in 2002 by Empire Interactive and Sick Puppies. I don't know if either of those are still around. Sick Puppies I'm pretty sure not. Empire might have fused into something else. But enough about that, let's go to new game.
Is there anybody there? What is your name, spirit?
Right off the bat, we meet this game's personality, which it is chock full of, as well as chock full of references to horror movies and the like. Most of which I won't get, but if you do get one, please post it in the comments somewhere. Yeah, with the Ouija boards we can give them our name. We are a Ghostmaster summoned into this world, the mortal realm, by these 6 mortals out of boredom, and by giving our name we may enter and scare the crap out of them.
Following hunters have been assigned to you. Treat them well.
Okay, I had to cut that cinematic there because it was stuttering a bit. Don't worry, I have yeah, I have footage of that running perfectly, stored away, which I had originally planned to use for an introduction for this new channel, but that kind of went nowhere. But I still have the footage, and the game is lagging. There must be something on the background again. I say again because, ironically, this is also my third attempt at recording this first episode. So yeah, we've made it so far. I think I will end the recording here for a second just to get rid of the lag and then continue. Okay, it seems that the lag is gone, but I could be proven wrong because, well, I can't find out what causes it. Okay, we're not lagging this time, so let's continue where we left off. This here is the World Select, and where we always... Now, this is a map of Gravenville, where this takes place. A fictional city, I believe. Yeah, fictional. And this here is the Ghoul Room. This is our base of operations. The school building we scared all those mortals out of in the introduction. And this is our first level, Haunting 101. And most levels here and ghosts are references to classic horror movies and such. But most I don't get.
You are ready for your field training, young Ghost Master. We are taking you to the Kappa Lambda sorority house in Gravenville University. Only a small number of sorority girls are in residence at the moment, but scaring them all away should be a sufficient test of your abilities.
Okay, here we go, the team selection screen. As you can see up here, there are 6 tabs, from sprites to horrors. To put it simply, sprites are very cheap, but aren't extremely good at scaring, whilst horrors are very expensive, but they scare the crap out of everything on 2 legs and with a human brain. And in between are disturbances, which are your spooks, your poltergeists, fetches, sandmen and mains, and other types. The sprites are gremlins, which are electrical spirits, which they cause electrical havoc. Hordes, which are swarms ghosts. Wisps, which are only one. Elementals, of course, are elemental beings rather than the spirits of the deceased. Air, earth, fire, and water, and each, of course, has powers corresponding to their element. Vapors, which are apparitions and banshees. Former humans, who have become quite powerful hunters. As far as the manual said, these could be considered the most balanced. You can also see thunder spirits and Regingos, the frighteners, phantoms, witches, tricksters, and shadows. And here we have the horrors, the specters, wraiths, and headless horsemen. Yeah, they have a headless horseman in here. This one here, Ghastly, is grayed out because there isn't anything we can bind him to. We can still select him, but we can't do anything with him. We can't bind him to the mortal realm. It's because his feather is he needs to be bound to a feather violence. Feathers are like, well, to put it simply, it's like plugging socket, sticking plug A into socket A, and socket B goes with plug B, that sort of stuff. It's what you bind your ghosts to allow them to exist in the mortal realm. And of course, different ones are bound to different things. Aether here can be bound to anything which counts as an air or outside feather. Stonewall here can be bound to anything with an earth feather. Card Gemmer, electrical, Cladiclaws inside. Who is also inside Wolfweird, can be bound to children only. And I don't have a vapor. And Shivers here can be bound to emotional feathers. Let's go with the recommended team and go hunt.
Drive the Kappa Lambda girls from their sorority house.
Okay, first off, standard stuff like the controls. You can move around with the mouse by holding it to the corners of the screen. You can also do that with the arrow keys, which I've changed to WASD so I don't have to cross my arms whilst playing this. You can change the angle you're looking at with those, but you can also do that with the right mouse button and holding it down. And you can also alter the tilt like that. Pressing this button here resets it to the original tilt. With these buttons, or by holding down the right mouse button and moving the mouse wheel up and or down, you can change between the different levels of the building or of the site where you are. And with the mouse wheel alone you can zoom in and out. Towards or away from your cursor. A nice little detail. Okay, over here we have the Mortal Pack. And here we have the Hunter Pack. In this mission we can only take 4 ghosts with us. But in other later ones we'll be able to take 6 and even 8. And down here you can see the Restless Spirits. There can be up to 4 Restless Spirits in an area. As you can see, it's only a silhouette at the moment because we haven't spoken to the Restless Spirit in this place yet, which is Weather Witch. You can recruit new hunters by setting these Restless Spirits free, as they will join your team afterwards. Okay, let's start with our victims, the mortals. You can see 3 bars right next to them. If you're holding your mouse over over their portraits, you can also choose to do simple actions like view them in a cinematic camera, go to them, watch from their POV, where you can even hear their heartbeat, which is a nice little thing. And yeah, they have Sims chatter and a short biography about them. These first ones will also give hints to their fears, or most of them, which are their weak points. You strike them with a power that corresponds with either their conscious or subconscious fear, and it will get a lot. It will hit them a lot more harder. Now about these bars, you can see terror, madness, and belief. Terror will be the one you're mostly affecting, because that's what you need to fill out to scare the mortal out of this place. And madness, it's a lot more hard to fill, but it gives you a lot more points if you drive them mad instead of causing them to run away. As I said, it's a lot tougher, but it gives a lot more points. I've only driven people mad about 3 or 4 times in all the times that I've played this game, excluding 2 scripted events. And this here belief is how vulnerable they are to your powers. Low belief means they are affected less, but high belief makes them more vulnerable. I always thought it was the other way around, but I was wrong with that. And you can also see their mood, which isn't that important. Now in most levels our objective is to scare everyone from the premise, but in other ones the puzzle part of this game comes more into play. But that's for those levels. For now we just have to scare the crap out of these ones, and that's it. And as you can see, there are statuses for the mortals, like sleeping or fainted. Others you can see by symbols over their heads, like luck, bad luck. If they're uneasy, on their edge, which makes them more vulnerable to attacks, and other things. But for now, let's talk a bit more about the strategy of this game. You only have a certain amount of ghosts, which you can relocate every time you want, but you have to you need plasm, which is this up here, to power their attacks. Now it isn't like fuel that gets spent, it's more like a threshold that you can't pass. If you do pass your power threshold or your plasma threshold, then you are in danger of losing you stay over your budget for too long and you lose. Simple as that. Now a bit more about the powers. As you can see, this power here, Numb, costs 70 plasma, which if I were to bind Shivers somewhere and sped him up to that power, then he would take 70 of our 100 plasm, and he will use this power as well as the one underneath that. There are a lot of different types of powers, which I will also talk about as well at some points as they pop up. For now, let's talk to Weather Witch.
Dratted dust! I used to command the storms, dearie, but since I went and got myself sucked into this electric broomstick, all I can manage is this infernal sneezing! It'd be a different matter if I got free, mind you. I'd whip up a storm to wake the dead!
Okay, once you talk to a restless spirit, they will give a hint, they will tell their story, and which often tells you, straight out tells you or gives you a hint to what you need to do to recruit them. And as you can see, the Weather Witch's portrait has, well, it has appeared instead of just a silhouette. But since she is still bound, we cannot move her around. We can, however, give her the command to use her powers, which in some case, with some spirits, is the best way to get them free, which you can break free on their own. We can also give our hunters orders. The more you use a hunter, the more orders they can take, and the more difficult orders they can also take. This one will be the most important one, so they don't start wasting their powers. And we can also tell Weather Witch to pick on certain mortals or on certain mortal types, like females, males, adults, children, and that sort of thing. For now, let's give her that command, just so I don't have to do so later. And give Shiver the same one. Shivers is more trained, which means he can take more orders and more other types of orders. Like, don't use any of your powers for some reason. You could just as well unbind your hunter and don't use a specific power. For example, if your hunter has a luring power, but you don't want him to use that, you can use that in order to prevent them from casting it. And yeah, let's free Weather Witch by binding Carkjammer or Electric Gremlin to this radio over here, and use one of his electrical abilities, Wild and Crazy, which causes every device in the area, which is in this room, to malfunction.
Okay, dearie. I'm on your team now. Let's blow this joint!
Okay, now that we have used the power, we are no longer immune. As you can see, it slowly our plasma is slowly dropping. I'll need to move Carkjammer somewhere else. He is a wild ghost, so we will just do whatever the hell he likes. As you can see, the bar next to a power is its recharge. All of these powers are electrical ones of different strengths and different areas of effect, except for Jinx here, which gives temporarily bad luck, which is a belief power. Now let's bind Killer Claws here, which is a swarm. It is a horde ghost. And yeah, we all know how much sorority girls like spiders and creepy crawlies. Here we go. Swarm Strike also gives a bit of madness, but a lot more terror, as you can see. And yeah, there we go. Those twos, that means that a mortal is vulnerable to other attacks. So let's put Boo up here. And in anticipation. Well, Boo is another wild ghost, so he will just do whatever the hell he wants. Kinesis powers, or just mind-blowing powers, are good in increasing belief, and also gives a bit of terror, as you can see here. Mortals are quite complex, or have quite a complex programming. More complex than I could figure out. Yeah, they will eventually try to avoid areas where creepy things are happening, so you will have to move around your hunters. Okay, let's put Shivers in here as well. Or rather not, bench him, put him out of there. There we go with Gusts, which is a weather power. It's a continuous power which consistently, which strengthens the wind just a bit. Weather powers, in addition to each other, can become very powerful. They can be combined into very powerful storms. As you can see, our mortals are starting to get scared. Heartbeats going up. They can't see the ghosts, but they can do whatever they are doing when they are making themselves known. Oh, and there we go. We have a fleer. The X means they have fled, but if it's flashing, that means they are fleeing at the moment. Some powers only only work if the mortals can see the effects of the power. And since we've got some more plasm, we'll put out Shivers as well. If you couldn't figure it out now, scaring mortals generates plasm, which generates powers, which scares mortals, which generates more plasm, and that goes on in a vicious cycle. If mortals start to calm down, then your plasm will drop. This is Taste Aura. This will reveal a conscious fear, like this type that is trapped. If you, which can be done in certain ways. There are certain powers to strike at that one, but the only one I really know are, well, there are two only, which are trapped or buried alive. And yeah, overall creepy crawly fears all around. Okay, now that the scaring is going all mostly around. Here we go, Thunderclap, that's a loud noise, weather power. And yes, Blair here is hiding out in the basement, so let's... oh, she was hiding out in the basement, now she's going up to the kitchen, where she will meet Cogjammer, and there's some black flashes every now and then across the screen. Don't know if that's showing up. This here was an example of range of a power. As you could see, Dorothy here didn't get scared because she got out of range of Shiver's attack, which was Numb, which just scares them. It doesn't hit a specific fear. It just scares them. And there are a lot of different types of fears and powers to strike at those. And one's going up here, so let's send Clariclaws to keep her company. If she doesn't go back down, she doesn't. So a Swarm Strike, and who is still around here. Some powers don't really scare, but they draw attention, like Rattle Chains. Noises and unfamiliar smells, or can draw mortals to certain areas. Which in some missions is needed to complete your objectives, which are more the puzzle levels. This type of mission, the normal ones, is more strategy and scaring the heck out of them at every possible way, in the quickest and most efficient way possible. And there we go. That lightning cloud means bad luck. And there we go, another trapped. Well, no, that's darkness, I think. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. I've lost the manual of this game years ago. Well, not entirely lost, but it's just useless. Almost all of the pages are either gone or too water damaged to be of any use. But I managed to find a copy of it online. And yeah. Once mortals start running outside, that's when it gets a bit annoying. As the moment we only have Weather Witch and a few powers ready. So there isn't that much that we can do once they go outside. And only Blair is remaining, so one more attack should send her running. And it seems you already know her fear, which is trapped. Nice work. Oh, we can't see their bios once they're fled. If a mortal is unsettled, they will not let's go examine any. They will not be drawn by powers like Rattle Chains anymore. They won't be curious. They'll just be scared shitless. Come on, somebody have something ready. Oh. TK Storm. And there she goes. Let's put this off just so we can see TK Power Storm. Come on. Oh well. TK Storm is telekinesis or kinesis is a stronger power version of that. Yes. And there we go. Scenario complete. We've freed one restless spirit and got 10,000 points for that. This banished haunters only applies later on. And what time? 15 minutes and 13 seconds. Don't think I've ever beaten 15 minutes. But then again, I've never really replayed these levels after going through the game again. Okay, Blindness Hunters here, that only applies later on once we start running into enemies like witches and priests, which don't make that many appearances. And here we have the Scares, Shocks, Screams, Faints, Super Paranoia, Flee, and Insane, and their different scores. Scares, Shocks, and Screams are mostly just derived by scaring them. In Faints, I don't really know how that works, perhaps by striking them with a good power at their fear. And Paranoia is by repeatedly striking them with one of their fears, and Super Paranoia is a stronger version of that. I don't really recall ever getting one of these, but I never knew how to get them before I read that online version of the manual. And Flee and Insane, well, that's just for filling out the terror bar or the insane bar. Don't think I've mentioned it, but the white portion of the bar is their willpower, which of course differs per mortal. Here we have a total score and a multiplier for time if you beat certain times. If you finish this mission in 5 minutes, you'll get a ×3 or a ×5 multiplier, I believe. And here we have our final score, 67,000 something, and for every 1,000 points in our final score we get gold plasm, which we can spend in the ghoul room on new powers. But once gold plasm is spent, it's gone. You can't use it again. It's just gone. And yeah, once we've finished Haunting 101, we can revisit it through the high scares gate. We finish it once we've got more haunters and bigger powers for them. But when you revisit a place, any restless spirits will be back in their place, which can be useful if you have them powered up. Then you can use them. Then you can use them again and have 5 spirits instead of 4. But that'll be it for this mission video. I plan to do 1 mission per video. So next up will be either Weird Seance or the Calamityville Horror, and I think I'll go for Weird Seance because it's more straightforward than, well, I don't really know. Calamityville Horror is a puzzle level, while Weird Seance is more scaring every mortal away again. So yeah, I think I'll go for Weird Seance and then Calamityville Horror. But this will have to do for this episode, so thank you all for watching. This has been Let's Replay Ghostmaster. Thank you all for watching. I think I said that twice now. Anyway, until next time when we'll go visit Weird Seance. But until then, have a nice day and goodbye.